Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is your two favourite and newest Topex hosts here. I am the lovely Jake O'Neill, and this is the wonderful
Jack Ray.
Woo! And we are your new favourite anchors here at Topex because there are just no anchors like us.
No, there aren't. We've been training for a lifetime to be the number one and number two anchors in the world.
Excuse me?
Listen, I've been training for this since I was 11, 12 years old. Everything in my life has been building up to this moment. And I think we should let the viewers decide who is the biggest, most flamboyant anchor between the two of us. Tell us, who's the biggest anchor? Just give us a Jack or a Jake.
Yeah, 100%. Or you can give us a Jake or a Jack, because our names are actually interchangeable, because we are really the same person, but just with, you know, chest hair on one side, and then look at those cheekbones. My. Oh. Okay, well, enough. We're literally going to start getting off if we carry on much longer. So, we're going to move past that before it gets a little bit steamy. That's for the Topex After Hours show, hey? So, what have we got today?
So, one thing you should really be looking forward to is the Welsh Jamaican Queen of Reggae, Aleighcia Scott. We've got a big interview with Chris, Mo and Niamh talking to her. And she's going to be performing at the Bath Festival as well on the
21st of August? But
yes, the 21st of August.
There was a small problem in the way you pronounced it. I could be wrong.
Right.
But I thought it was the Bath Festival.
For me, it's Bath.
Oh, is it?
And I'm from the area, so
okay.
I think there's a bit of a class divide emerging on camera here, guys.
That is. Well, this is going to get really awkward really fast. Oh God, I'm going to get cancelled. God. Okay.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on to your fishing piece.
Yes. So I was angling for a big story, and I thought I'd drop my anchor and wade into the deep, murky waters of Cardiff's local fishing scene.
Have you ever been on the lovely, lovely parts of this wonderful Atlantic wharf and wondered, what are those tents full of fisher people doing? Here at Topex News, we intend to find out.
My name is Ryan. I'm a 31-year-old salesman from the South Wales Valleys, so brought up in Newbridge. Been fishing now since about the age of 10. I just like being out in the open. With being a salesman, obviously you're always inside and talking to customers, so it's just a bit of tranquility, a nice opportunity to have a barbecue and come out and just enjoy yourself, really. A furniture salesman, so I sell sofas, dining tables, so 45 hours a week, obviously, being inside. There's nothing better than coming outside on your days off to enjoy a bit of fishing. Yeah, basically, when I was 10, I got in touch with my father for the first time, basically, and it was like exploring. We were going on the rivers, going up and down banks, climbing fences, so it was like exploring, you know, fishing on the rivers, catching trout this big, to catching obviously carp now potentially this big, so it's just natural progression. The longer you fish, the more opportunities that you get, and you want to catch bigger and better fish then. So, but yeah, I just loved it. As soon as I started fishing, I knew that was it for the rest of my life. I think the wharf is somewhere you build up to, so you'll start on lakes that are a lot easier with no snags. Like snags are things in the water where you can get caught on and stuff like that. So you build up to the wharf.
I'm Carol, and I'm one of the bailies at the lake, but our main priority is to make sure that the fishery is safe for the members, such as there is no poachers. Obviously this fishery is right in the middle of Cardiff, and as you can see yourself, the fish or our stock are very much visible at these sunny times on the surface. So mainly it's to maintain that the fish are not taken from the lake, that all the members are fishing according to rules, which we stated prior to the membership as well.
So these are basically my 3 rods. They're by a company called Daiwa, which are a Scottish brand, basically. These actually retail at £600 a rod. So they're not actually cheap, these ones, but I built them up over time. The reels as well are from Daiwa in Scotland. So they're long distance casting reels. So if I see a fish show right the way down the bottom, I can whack the leads out there. So they're the best basically you can buy, but they last. So I've had these for 5 years, and they'll probably last me another 15 years. So again, like I said about the barrow, provided you buy quality gear, you're always going to obviously have them for a long time.
Fantastic.
These are alarms, so when you're inside your tent or your bivvy, as we call it in carp fishing, if the rod goes, obviously I wouldn't hear them out here. I've got a receiver which will pick up any sort of signal from the alarms.
Okay, that's so cool.
For the fish. So this is a walled mat from Avid Carp and basically it's just going to protect the carp rather than putting it on the concrete.
Yeah.
Because if you put it on the concrete,
It burns it, doesn't it?
It'll burn it and destroy the scales of the carp. So by taking care of them, we'll always catch them again. More members can catch them.
Yeah.
They're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because everyone wants to catch the big one. Okay. But basically, we've got sweet corn, we've got high oil pellets.
You can smell that.
Yeah. And then mainline boilies, which are basically little balls of protein that we put in. If the fish eat a lot of these, they get very, very big, very, very quick.
Yeah.
So Mainline is a company that I've been associated with now for over a year, and they are known for basically producing the best bait on the market. This is a Prestige carp barrow, so it's a British-made piece of equipment, and basically what you do, you fold it over, and then you put all your gear on to transport it around the lake. So you've got a little hole here to put your bait in, and then obviously some of them only come with one wheel. This one comes with three to make it a lot easier, a lot more steady, and you don't feel the weight on the actual barrel then. So rather than carrying 2 or 3 bits at a time from all the way over there from the car, you can just do it all in one trip and just makes it a lot easier.
Big boy tri-porter.
So we use this to actually get a small concentration of a bait to an area where we're actually fishing. So we can actually get a localised on the bait just to attract the fish. With the slingshots, you're only going to be throwing out kind of boilies, which you're only going to get so far. But if you're fishing at 60 yards, 70 yards, this is what you really want to be using. You're going to be more accurate.
So this is the bivvy, so this is where obviously I'll sleep at night. So normally inside I'll have my bed chair, which again, same as the unhooking mat, is from a company called Avid Carp. It's actually my first time using it, so it's been really good. It's a memory foam mattress, so it's nice and comfortable then. So basically I can unzip all of this, and then this will obviously absorb the air, so making it a lot cooler, but also keeping the mosquitoes out, because mosquitoes are a nightmare around lakes. So
yeah, well they're just nightmare full stop really, aren't they? So like especially around water.
Luckily they don't like me, so I don't get any problems with them. In June last year I had a fish called Ebenezer weighing over 40 pounds, which in Wales is very difficult to catch a 40 pound carp because there's not many lakes that produce that sort of size of fish, and that is what's unique about the Wharf. The stock of the fish, there's many 30 pounders, 40 pounders, and it really is very difficult to catch one in Wales. So it was quite a proud moment and my best moment in carp fishing so far.
Well, Jake, that was very nice. Obviously, that was your first piece for Hot Topex, so I just wanted to ask what it was like to pop your cherry.
Well, I popped my cherry when I was 17.
Right.
It was uncomfortable for both parties involved.
I thought you were 24.
There was some...
We're talking about your Topex cherry.
Right! yes, sorry, comic misunderstanding there. So yes, no, it was really, really good. I loved the filming. It was very humbling to put myself in the feet of, in the shoes of the little people, unlike the stars in front of the camera like myself. It was great. I loved it. I really did.
And the fisher people, how did they, were they enjoying themselves? Did they enjoy having you there? What was it like for them?
Well, obviously they enjoyed having me there. Like,
right.
You know, like, I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, you enjoy having me here, right, Jack? Like, it's...
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so I think the fisher people probably enjoyed things just about as much as Jack did. But no, they had some really interesting stuff to say, and I learned some amazing things about fish, about tents. They call them bivvies, not tents.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I never ask a fisherman about his tent because he'll tell you he doesn't have a tent. But yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff, and I really, really enjoyed being behind the camera. It was great.
Well, it was nice to see you fishing for something other than compliments.
So we're now going to continue the fashion in the media of late of two very pale white guys talking about reggae. So, what are we talking about, Jack?
Well, we've got Aleighcia Scott and Chip who are going to bring some Jamaican sunshine to Wales. We've got a couple of pale white guys here.
Yeah, look at that.
It's perfect.
Honestly, we are genuinely almost pale enough to photosynthesize. No, that's green, isn't it? Green? Are we green? I think I'm pale enough to be green. Whatever. Like, whenever I go outside, I'm like a vampire. I just turn into a pile of soot and ashes. Like, it's not good. And that's with the Welsh sun as well. Like, imagine what I'd be like in a country with proper sunshine.
Like Jamaica, maybe we could get an all expenses paid trip out there to go and film with Aleighcia.
If you're hearing us, bosses, investors, potential sponsors. Can we get out there? Can we get out there? Or actually, I think more realistically, if we're pitching for it, let's get an all expenses trip paid to Bath, because I reckon we can manage that.
The Bath Festival. Bath.
It's got an R in it. It's got an R. Bath.
Anyway,
like
here's Mo, Chris, and Niamh talking to Aleighcia and Chip.
A local artist that's been mixing R&B, gospel music, reggae. Why don't you take it away?
Here she is.
Aleighcia Scott! In the building! In the building!
If you don't know her, get to know her. We're about to get to know her.
About to get to know her.
Hello.
Hi.
You glad you're here?
Yes, it's been nice warm welcome, like Chris said.
I know.
It's nice to be here. I had my first live show in Bristol, and that was strange. After I think it was about 8 months of no live shows, and I'd gone from 4 or 5 live shows a week to 3 in a whole year because of the pandemic.
That was quite daunting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so weird to get on the stage. I felt like I was doing something wrong, like doing a live show. And then it was also weird because there's an actual audience. I've done like live sessions with my band, but there's been no audience, which is also weird. And then have an audience again, just felt like I was doing something wrong. But I loved it at the same time.
I was going to say, did it feel good?
Are they allowed to kind of like shout and cheer? The fans are allowed to go crazy, or is it like particles?
It's still sit
flowing
down,
in?
isn't
We
it?
don't actually know. There's no rules, there's no guidance. They just, the night before, oh yeah, live music's back tomorrow, and you have to have an assessment.
I saw that.
Assessment
That's why I
is-
thought, you know what,
So
until
no.
you said it this morning, I didn't really believe it, because I saw something on my thing, it was like, well, live music's back from tomorrow, and I was like, that's a bit random, they just decided it,
Yeah.
no rules,
There's
no
no, like,
guidelines.
prep.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a renewed appreciation as an artist, and also from an audience perspective?
Definitely. I realised, like, I've always known I've loved music, but I realised, taking it away, how much I love music, because for me, it's like my release. And then to take that, it was my livelihood, my release. I've been full-time for 6 years now, and that's what I did, 4 or 5 times a week, every week, travelled,
Wow.
and then that all literally just came away. So then I had to like develop a new way to be an artist from home, which was really weird. So I definitely appreciate it, because I realised how much I actually do love it.
So did you have to like re-find yourself?
Yeah, how did you do
yeah. So I just looked at what can I do. So I went back to like learning online, got a little certificate.
Yay.
Thanks, hun. Then so I was doing like live shows, which is nice because people at home can still like get the vibe and enjoy it, but it's also weird because I'm aware there's a screen. But then on the other side of that, I got to reach countries that I hadn't reached before, because somebody would share it and then another country would tune in and somebody else would share it, whereas at a live show, it's only that audience can see.
Yeah.
So now I've been able to build so that now when live shows are back, I can go to these places, whereas before I would have never been able to go. Yeah.
But I think to step away from the live music for a second, I want to know more about you.
Okay.
So tell me like where this amazing mix of this Welsh culture and Jamaican culture mixed into music, how was that born?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? I'm so intrigued.
It's very original, man.
It's very
congrats,
original.
because I've never heard something like that mixes like Welsh culture with Jamaica and things. That's very unique.
Thank
So
you.
tell me how your vibe was born. Where did it come from?
Yeah.
Literally from birth, I think. It's a natural thing for me. My mum's side is Welsh, my dad's side is Jamaican. And at home, all we listened to mostly was reggae. But reggae music to sing wasn't always accessible, because in Wales, like, there's not really much on the reggae scene in terms of being an artist. So I used to really sing like R&B, and then at youth club I'd write the choruses when the boys were doing like hip hop and grime and that kind of stuff. And then when I was 17, 18, then I would start traveling to London and the studios there, and then reggae was like always around then. So naturally I was always listening to reggae, but I wouldn't always be able to sing it because it wasn't available. But yeah, then naturally 17, 18, just reggae from there.
For this ambition to achieve to become an artist.
Yeah.
Right now. So tell us about that.
So I think I've always sang. When I was about 7, there was a youth club in Riverside Warehouse, and we used to be called Expressions of the Young Kind. So it was just like loads of people my age and a little bit older, and we'd travel like the whole of Wales and
From that
perform.
young?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think one of my first ever shows at 7 was the big weekend in Cardiff, and that used to be massive, and I just remember feeling like I literally love this and I don't want to do anything else. And I still feel like that.
And I heard you mentioned about on the side as well as your music, you also do you teach people not how to sing, but you do tell me about that, what you said to me earlier on the
Okay.
camera, so they can
So in part of my degree, I did drama, but I did drama and how you apply it to therapy and education. So I did workshop facilitation amongst that. So yeah, I'm technically a workshop facilitator. So through Corona times and lockdown, I did a lot of Zoom workshop facilitation and helping with songwriting and confidence building and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was fun with a lot of different youth clubs and stuff like that.
And
That's great.
Did you like that?
I love it.
Because I guess probably without COVID, that might not have been something that you would have done, this year during that time.
Let me ask you about something that's a little bit deeper. Oh God, not that deep. Don't worry, not yet. How big a thing is confidence in your life, and when did that come for you? When did you get the affirmation, the reassurance that, yeah, I've got it, I've got what it takes, and I can go out there?
Do you know what? I've never thought that. That's my thing for me is I'm quite spiritual and I believe that this is my purpose.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've never felt that it's not what I'm supposed to do. So I've never felt like, yeah, I'm gonna, do you know what I mean? It's just that,
it's just already
I
there.
love this and I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to deliver messages to people through music and share a vibe with people through live and like change people's lives if I can.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's just been my purpose. I've never felt I'm not supposed to do it. Do you know what I mean?
So you've always
just
felt
feels
It's a
right.
natural installation, yeah.
And in terms of like confidence in self, so you've naturally always had like a belief, should I say that?
I believe,
in
yeah.
yourself?
Maybe not so much a confidence. There's times when I listen to stuff and I'm like, do I put that out? I don't know. But I just feel like I'm supposed to do this. I'm on the right journey. This is my
That always
journey.
takes over.
What do you do to connect with that when you are like doubting yourself because COVID and things like that? Like life can get hard. So how do you connect with that when you start like getting self-doubt?
I've never doubted that I'm supposed to do it. There's never once that I thought, oh, I'm not doing music anymore. Never
That's
once. Great. Just more of like a doubt in myself and what I'm quite a perfectionist with my stuff. So before it goes out, I'm like analysing it and like, is this right or do I need to change this? But to connect with it, really, I just always remember my purpose.
Your journey and your career represents you're kind of a trailblazer, aren't you? For Welsh artists, I'd say, definitely from the urban scene.
Yes,
and you mentioned about kind of like being most natural is where you found your lane.
Yeah.
So would that be your message to young up and coming artists? Would it be to do what comes most natural to you?
Definitely. My biggest thing in life is don't force it. Like, sometimes people will try and, over the years, have tried to say, but you should go this lane, you should go this route, but it doesn't feel natural for me. And then I feel like the audience know. People who listen to you and people who support you know. If you're trying to force something, I just feel like you can't put everything into it because you're not really feeling it, they're not really feeling it. People can tell, people are not stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like just do what naturally comes to you and the right people will come around you and stay. 100%.
Speaking to a lot of musicians, I've noticed everyone's process of writing music is like completely different. So what's like your process? Do you start by freestyling and get it, or do you plan meticulously, or do you use your emotions? Tell me what your like process behind getting those lyrics out there is.
It's always different, I find. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I've got an idea, so I'm going to voice note it. It might be words, or it might be just a melody, or it might be like a whole song. Sometimes people will send me the instrumental and then I write over the top of it. Or I'll just start a melody over it and then the words will come. It's always different.
One thing I want to know is where your like inspiration for music comes from.
In terms of artists, there's so many artists I love. Etta James, Jasmine Sullivan, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu. But I used to listen a lot to reggae artists such as like Sanchez and Beres Hammond. So I feel like the people I've just said is probably like a massive fusion of those in everything I do.
That's amazing.
And any Welsh artists there, like Tom Jones or something?
I love Tom Jones. Shirley Bassey's voice is powerhouse, and I love it. And the album's almost ready to go, and that was supposed to come out last year in the summer.
Cool, man.
So when's that coming out? Can you tell us?
So it's going to come out next year.
Ooh.
And because we want to be able to tour, and we put so much into this album, we want to give it the best that we can.
100%.
So yeah, we're just like, okay, put it out next year when we can tour, and hopefully.
But it's ready to go.
It's ready to go. We've got a few little sprinkles to do.
I'm gonna say, how does that feel though, knowing that it's just like sat there?
Exciting. It's scary though. It feels like a baby. Like I've been working on it 3-4 years, and like put like.
And it's about to birth now, and it's
like, a long gestation time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But and you're working with local musicians there, like that's cool. And are you, some musicians that people can recognize there?
Yeah, we've been, there's quite a few musicians. So we've got Danny Basie on the bass, and I know he he performs a lot of people. Some of the trombone players I've worked with, Marcia Griffiths, the Wailers, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm literally in the right place for everything I want.
It's going to be insane. I want to hear this now.
Aleighcia, how have you enjoyed the show today?
I've enjoyed it. It's nice because it's been like a chat.
Yeah.
Sometimes your interview is like, tell me this, tell me that, but it's nice to be a chat.
Good. We'd loved having you here.
Nice.
And if you stay tuned, come back and you'll get to see the man behind the camera, Chip, playing his guitar, strumming along. We've got a lovely performance coming from them both. So please stay tuned if you want to see more of this amazingly talented woman.
Woman! Maybe she might let me join in.
Yeah, who knows what will happen. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great.
Keep updated. I want to hear this album that's coming out next year. I'm so excited. But
where can we find all your music? I saw that you had a Spotify, but
do whatever shout outs you want to do now. Do the follows me on this.
So you can find my stuff everywhere. My social media platforms are all at Aleighcia Sings, ALEIGHCIA. Thanks, man.
We'll spell that on the bottom screen.
Yes. And you can find all my music on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere.
Go get it, girl.
Bullet.
Woo!
Hello. Hi. Are you enjoying the show? It's good, isn't it? I just thought I'd mention we're offering some advertisement space. Whether you're a starting business, an international business, or local, we can help you promote them. Whether it be in the same style as this, or we can offer you advertisements in the form of banners and product placement. This is a short and affordable way to advertise your business and its details to a young, online and receptive audience. If you're interested with us, email talktous@topex.news. Speak soon. Enjoy the rest of the show.
This is an original song. It's produced by Package Records, and this song is called Conscious Queen. So this is going out to all my queens and all my conscious people. This is for you. This is about when people try and tell you that you can't do something that you would like to do. You can, and it goes like this. Nobody
How good was that, Jake, man?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. Genuinely, guys, you are missing out so much. Check these guys out. Chip Huelin and Aleighcia Scott. Find them on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. You need to watch them. You honestly need to.
Yeah, and I've heard that she's even better live. I think.
Genuinely.
Were you in the studio for that?
I was very, very lucky to get to experience that. Such a beautiful voice, such depth, such richness to it. Follow them, your life will be better as a result, and I can guarantee that. Jax is much better as a result. Look at him, look at that healthy skin colour.
Happy, yeah. Don't touch me. Anyway, speaking of music, let's move on to Gotham Yardbird Sanctuary. We spoke to the people behind that. Mitchell Borden and Ria Yamaguchi Borden. They've been funding musicians in New York to play jazz live throughout the pandemic, and they're now opening a new jazz bar. So yeah, it's going to be absolutely banging. And I've actually got a little impression I want to do since we're on the subject of New York. Mm-hmm. This is my Welsh-speaking Italian-American who's just been hit by a car.
You heard it here first.
Hey, dwi'n cyrraedd yma!
The English translation for this is, hey, I'm walking here.
Hi guys, I'm Jack Ray with Hot Topex, and I'm going to be talking to Ria Yamaguchi Borden and Mitchell Borden about Gotham Yardbird Sanctuary and their new jazz club. So it's great to have both of you with me here. I just wanted to talk to you first of all about Gotham Yardbird Sanctuary and the pandemic. So what was the situation that led to you setting up the sanctuary?
Well, a lot of musicians were out of work and they've been shedding at home, and they're getting better and better, and they're ready to play. And we noticed that there are places to play outdoors and that would comply with COVID requirements and restrictions, and yet there weren't a lot of concerts going on. So we thought that we would get some money together and start promoting these concerts that are safe. And it has been working very well. People are enjoying live music. Musicians are getting paid again. A lot of the musicians were not eligible for unemployment and things like this right away. And it was kind of scary because they are, working as musicians. They're getting a lot of cash. It's not on the books all the time. So it was hard until they started the gig unemployment. It was quite a precarious moment for them, whether they can survive at all. So we responded to that, knowing that we could, our popularity. I started Small's Jazz Club and Fat Cat, and some popularity, and so people might give us some money, knowing that those clubs are closed during the plague and the endemic, and so we just started getting the money from the listeners back into the pockets of the musicians by promoting their shows outdoors and such.
That's great. And how many sort of musicians have you been able to help with the Gotham Yardbird Sanctuary so far?
I'd say at least 50, at least. Try to spread it out and not hire the same people all the time. So it's, get everyone. I mean, the morale is important too. People leaving New York, some musicians went home. A lot of musicians come from Ireland and Scotland and England and Israel and Germany and Russia. They come to New York because they want to, see what the jazz scene is like. They've heard quite a bit. There are, maybe 50 good places to play and expose their art to the listeners. Yet a lot of them went home because what's there to do when nothing is open?
That's great. And how have New Yorkers sort of reacted to having free live jazz outdoors in the midst of a pandemic? Have they enjoyed it?
Well, you can see that, especially kids, because they don't often get to a jazz club, and when they first hear jazz for the first time, it's quite remarkable. It doesn't seem like some of the music on the radio or the internet. It's not nice to see kids hearing jazz in the street like that, and how they react, they dance, and of course adults love jazz and that.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask, obviously, as the sanctuary's developed, you've actually sort of come towards deciding to create a new jazz club together. I think you're there now. So how has that process been, and what are your hopes for the club?
Well, we want to have music 7 nights a week, at least one band a night, and maybe a jam session, so a partial band after that. And that's the same principle, getting employment for the musicians. And we're no strangers to the sacrifice that it takes. Been at Smalls for 25 years, and Fat Cat for a little more than 15 years, and Mesro as well. And I had retired for a minute, thinking that I worked enough in the jazz industry, bar industry, and after about 2 years at home, I realized I'm a little bored, especially when the pandemic hit and you had to stay inside all the time. So I wasn't enjoying my retirement so well, and it's time to start another club. What we're interested in is a place for musicians to hang. It seems like a lot of the jazz clubs are so pressed right now that they really can't give up any seats that aren't being utilized to make money. So the musicians, normally they don't really spend a lot in a club, but we have a spacious club now. In the hang, that's your crucible for ideas. The musicians talk to each other. The musicians will say, "Oh, you can't play like that. You can't play that chord. You got to do it this way." And so there's a lot of the music that develops if a club allows the musicians to hang.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, you two are both extremely passionate about jazz. Is that how you two met? Was it in a jazz club, in a jam session? What was the story there?
Right, just like that.
Yeah.
I came in as a customer to Smalls 20 years ago, maybe.
And you met that way.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got a dog together. What's the dog called?
Winnie.
Winnie.
She's
Looks very
8 years
happy
old.
there. 8 years.
And she knows all the musicians, and it helps to have her as like a meet and greet.
I wanted to ask that as well. Obviously, you're animal lovers, at least dog lovers, and there's a vegan sort of zero waste edge to the new club. So I just wanted to ask about that. Was that something that came along with a love of animals? What was the motivation behind doing that?
But anyway, so during the non-profit activity, we had this thing called Green Bird Initiative, which kind of it's based on our namesake Charlie Parker. He has a lot of quotes concerning about his Native American heritage, how to live with nature. So we wanted to just emphasize, be careful the earth, be careful the art, but also let's try to make some kind of renaissance with something earth in your mind.
That's great. Yeah, thank you. And just finally, could you tell us sort of when you're going to be opening the doors, what the club's called, and where our viewers can find you?
Well, we're open now. The name is going to change on Charlie Parker's birthday, which is August 29th. And that it will change to Ornithology, which is one of Bird's greatest solos that he plays on that song. He often played it, and it's great. It's a great song.
Thank you both so much. I've been Jack Ray for Topics News, talking to Ria and Mitch from Gotham Yardbird Sanctuary, all the way from Brunswick, New York. Thank you guys. Thanks so much.
Bushwick, New York.
Bushwick, New York. Sorry. Thank you both. Most appreciated.
That was absolutely amazing. All that jazz has got me feeling all loose and kind of romantic. But how did you feel about it, Jack?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my chat with them, and obviously it's a great thing to be doing. So many people have fallen through the cracks of support, so them kind of supporting everyone is great, and I think people should go and support them. So if you're watching out there in New York and you still like me after my little impression, go and check them out and enjoy some jazz music. It'd be fun.
And speaking of jazz and falling through cracks, squeezing myself into things like that. Yeah, I feel jazz is very romantic music, and it's got me feeling feel like a cwtch, which for the non-Welsh viewers out there it's a very gentle and loving cuddle. That's what a cwtch is. So should we cut the camera? Cut the cameras, yeah.
Now guys, it's time for a new segment of the show with your two favourite anchors. We're going to be doing an entertainment news portion for influencers, and we've got two that we want to introduce to you first of all. They're both banging, so Jake.
Indeed. So first up, we have the wonderful, the amazing, and one of the most wholesome content creators, in my opinion, on the internet, the wonderful Francis bourgeois, which is a word I really enjoy saying. It's a good one. I'm not a member of the bourgeoisie. I am a proletariat to the end. But Francis Bourgeois does these, a wonderful is one word, videos of him just enjoying trains.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I love it. You can't fail to bring a smile to your face. So should we jump in and have a watch?
Well, it must be said, just for viewers at home, it's a trigger warning, because he puts the camera uncomfortably close to his face, and it makes me feel a little bit like a jellyfish in some kind of way. So, but let's get into it.
Okay, mate. Let's start. Okay, let's start over here.
Woken up at the crack of dawn to see the
Crack of dawn?
HST. Boy, am I ready to see it.
It's a sharp dresser.
He is. I just want to see it hong. There's no hong. He deserves to be on the Wall of Fame just for getting up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? And it just goes to show that trains are wonderful, but people falling over, that's where the real comedy is. You cannot beat people falling on their face. What's the next one?
Should we try and find a honker?
Should we honker?
Okay. Oh, look at it. There's so much suspense. Right up close on the face.
I don't need...
There's not much more you can say than just grin and...
Yeah, that's... It's wholesome.
I wish I had a hobby I loved as much as that was as wholesome as that.
Yeah, I mean,
we talked a lot about anchoring today.
Yeah, exactly. We love our anchoring, but it just doesn't bring us that much joy. It really doesn't. You know, bless him. But also really uncomfortably close to I've never been that close to someone's nose before. Like it's quite strange being that close to someone's nose.
We've got pretty up close and personal, to be fair, but
absolutely. But that's for after camera stuff. Like I said, the Topex Nights show, you know. So
yeah, Next up we've got Isaac. So he's one that I brought to the table. Let's find some of his reels and have a bit of a laugh with that. He likes to dress up in a minion suit and drop a few deadpan jokes. So let's jump into.
This is your minion joke of the day. What do you call a minion with black stripes all over its body? A. Despicable B. Banana. Come back for more later. This is your minion.
That's it. No. Deadpan.
This guy up here says, why do minions like to dance? Because they're groovy. Nice joke, mate. My grandmother can't dance because she's in a wheelchair.
Woo! Okay, that was not what I was expecting, but I enjoyed it. Okay, let's go. Come on, what's next?
What else we got?
This person up here says, what do minion ghosts eat? Bananas. That's a good one, mate. My granddad also eats bananas because he's dead. This person up here says.
Okay, so like.
That's not bad, I'm not going to lie, I quite like that. I think that deserves a place.
It's very, very good. It's definitely getting on our wall of fame. It's very different content because I would not describe that as wholesome content. I would watch it, but I'm not a wholesome person at all. I mean, just look at that chest hair. Does that look wholesome to you? Really, it doesn't. It's a bit disturbing.
Not to me.
Let's see, I heard there was a potential
there's a bit of a collaboration between those two. So Francis and Isaac have come up with a unlikely collaboration, and it is comedy gold. It's like a sitcom, yin and yang, so let's see. That's pure office.
Absolutely. I mean, their chemistry is
incredible. I think
not quite you and me standard though, Jack. Okay, so like.
Yeah, I think they should get a production company involved and get that filmed. I'd watch that on BBC Three, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Maybe
Absolutely.
I don't know. Hot Topex. Come meet us, guys.
Yeah.
Isaac, Francis, we'd love to have you on, mate.
Come along, and let's get really close to your nose as well, just like Jack and I.
Yeah.
Get nose to nose. So, that was the wonderful Francis Bourgeois and the lovely
Isaac HP.
And that's not HP for HP Sauce or HP for Harry Potter, that's just the good old-fashioned Isaac HP. So,
yeah.
What we want to talk to you about, sadly, we haven't got much more time, but we've got one final question, very important question for you, the viewers. Who is
the biggest anchor?
Yeah.
We've got a bit of a competition going.
I mean, do we really? Like, clearly I am the biggest anchor here. I think I'm the biggest anchor anybody's ever met. I mean, I've got the beard, I've got the shirt, the chest hair, the personality, the lack of friends, all that kind of stuff that makes up the perfect anchor.
Very strong right forearm as well.
Yeah, very strong left forearm actually. I'm ambidextrous, so 2 hands.
Right, I feel like I'm going to have to concede this in a second, but I don't want to. So guys, please get in touch with us on our socials. Talk to us at topics.news as well, so that we can find out who is the biggest anchor. We're that desperate. We just want you to insult us.
Who it is and why it's me, basically. So, you know.
Yeah. So next week we've got the very funny lady Tori Lyons coming in, and a whole lot of other fun stuff. But obviously, we hope you've enjoyed our little show as well. We've certainly bonded and got to know each other a bit better.
Haven't we just, Jack? I feel this is really, as a couple of anchors, I feel we're just joined to something. You know, holding something, touching at something.
Can we cut the feed now?
You can't run away from me!